afternoon, I am Natalia Ferre.
And I'm Sarah Hand.
This edition of the Georgetown Daily will cover last Thursday's proceedings of the Supreme Court, Rosenbaum v. Holder. The defendant, Levi Rosenbaum, knowingly and intentionally participated in the act of acquiring and receiving human organs with the intention of selling them overseas for anywhere between $120,000 and $160,000. Rosenbaum was accused for violating various titles of the U.S. Code and was subsequently sued on 4 different counts. While the defense argued in favor of changing the current statute in order to allow the selling and buying of organs, the prosecution presented arguments in favor of maintaining the existing ban on organ transactions.
According to the prosecution lawyers Jamie Sharp, Kian Chung, and Neil Quinn, it is in accordance with every major national body that the sale of kidneys and other organs is prohibited, including the UN, World Health Organization, and World Medical Association. Sharp proposed that the sale of kidneys and other organs in countries, such as Iran, has led to the exploitation of the poor by the elite, who are solely looking to make a profit. He suggested that this goes against the American ideal of justice. The legitimization of selling organs, according to Sharp, would result in the social pressure for the poor to resort to selling their organs. The prosecution argued that the legitimization of the selling of and buying of organs will indirectly lead to the development of a black market.
So let us imagine a world where the very poorest and the most vulnerable in society are exploited for their very person, for their organs, where those in the direst need of help receive not a hand to guide them, but a scalpel and a check. Where the elite, with means, exploit and maim the poorest for their own benefit. I say, and I contend, that this is a very un-American vision.
Further, the prosecution also argued that expanding organ donation and sales into the private sector would actually lead to higher levels of exploitation, which means that the state has a legitimate interest in the regulation of organ donation. Even if the broker does not make a profit, there is still a transaction taking place, and allowing the defendant to go free in this case would set the precedent for the future instances of organ transactions. Finally, the prosecution touched upon the difference between donating solid organs, such as kidneys, and donating other human parts, such as semen or blood. The distinction comes from the different degrees of risk involved in donating an organ versus a regenerative body part.
On the contrary, the defense attorneys Fabiola Delgado, Austin Cleary, and Charles Tack argued that Rosenbaum's actions as a kidney broker were not criminal by suggesting that the National Organ Transplant Act is unconstitutional. They also proposed that the defendant himself made no financial profits in his role as a broker and therefore acted as any other organ intermediary. According to the defense, NOTA unconstitutionally infringes upon the individual's right to privacy and protection given under the 4th and 14th Amendments. However, the defense argued that by banning monetary compensation, NOTA is limiting the individual's right to their body and what they want to do with it. Finally, by restricting one's means of obtaining kidneys, the government is limiting these very same rights guaranteed under the Constitution, and in fact contributing to the long wait list for organ transplant.
Rosenbaum has been unjustly found guilty for brokering the sale of kidneys in the state of New Jersey. NOTA, the National Organ Transplant Act, irrationally makes selling and purchasing organs illegal throughout the United States. Although Mr. Rosenbaum brokered the transfer of kidneys, he is free of crime because under close analysis, NOTA is clearly unconstitutional.
We had the chance to talk to some of the lawyers after the first proceedings here last Thursday. Here's their first impression on what they thought about the case. How do you guys feel today after this first day here at the Supreme Court?
We feel good. We find our arguments compelling both on constitutional and policy grounds, and we were slightly disappointed that the defense did not fully engage on the issues of substantive due process that we raised. But all in all, we feel it was a good day and that we are confident the justice will make an appropriate decision. So, yes.
Good. Charles, how do you feel after today?
I think we delivered our points clearly. I think that hopefully the justice can see that our client has been deprived of his constitutional rights, and I hope that they come to agree with us.
It'll be interesting to see this trial unfold. Stay tuned and follow the case with the Georgetown Daily for the latest information as the case continues.